Hey everybody, today we're going to talk about the 5 hard truths that you have to accept and work through if you want to make it in the music business. And some of these don't exactly have to do with making the music or the quality of the record. They have to do with some of the personal stuff. So it might get a little strange and a little awkward, but stay with me because I have examples from all my students and how they succeed. All right? Number 1, let's get right into it. Number 1, your happiness is not going to come from the grand achievements. You need to be happy on the journey and with yourself. So I've been doing this for over 10 years. We've taught over 500 students, some really great producers, and they get a lot of results. And one of the things that they actually get too obsessed with are these large milestone achievements. I can sit here and tell you them. They've played EDC and they tour and they get signed to Spinnin and Ultra and all these great things. That's super cool. But you actually have to be happy and content with yourself on the day-to-day grind. Because those achievements, those big result things, they're not going to happen every single day. And after they do happen, you're the same person you were before. Great example of this is Nostalgics. She came to us 4 years ago, and just a few weeks ago, she played the main stage of EDC. Huge accomplishment, right? She's been signed to Nightbase and Confession and Thrive and all these great labels. Amazing. This past weekend, she played the main stage of Beyond Wonderland. Unbelievable. I was talking to her on the phone yesterday. I don't know if you know this, but our program, it's ongoing. It's lifetime. We're always here for you. Talking to her on the phone yesterday, she doesn't sound like someone that's like, oh, I'm on top of the moon because I just played the main stage of Beyond Wonderland. She was super stoked, but she said, I'm tired. And that's okay. She's on a day where she's not on the main stage. And she's got to get ready for another set tomorrow. She's playing the Dim Max stage at Summerfest, huge festival. And she's on this grind. And she's constantly having to make the records and prepare her sets and deal with the social media and the posting and the TikTok and all this different stuff. Not every single day are you going to be jumping on stage, energized on a main stage of EDC. There will be days that you're tired. There will be days that you're not on the road, where you're not at a nightclub partying. There's going to be days that are lulls. But over the average, you have to enjoy the journey. If you're just chasing the achievements, those days where you're not having one are going to be really tough. So make sure that you're here for the journey. That's number 1. Number 2, and this is a tough pill to swallow, not everyone is going to like you or your music. And that's normal. That is very normal, and it's okay. Not everyone's going to like your stuff. So, if you're new to this, you're going to get rejected. I hope I'm not the first person telling you this, but the music business is filled with endless stories of rejection. The Beatles were rejected. Lady Gaga was dropped by her label. And I can go on with very, very famous stories. But I'll tell you about one of my students. One of my students, Rebecca, she goes by Bexy. She's doing phenomenal. Joined us 2 years ago. She's making piano house music, very housey stuff. And she's sending it to your typical house labels, the big ones that I'm sure you know. And she was getting rejected. But she didn't sit there and say, oh, it's so sad. They don't like me. They don't like my music. I'm just going to go pout about this. No. She actually ended up signing this house stuff to Anjuna. You might say, hey, that doesn't make any sense. Anjuna is a big, progressive trance, that kind of sound. No. You don't have to get liked or approval from everybody. If you just find a few people that like your shit, that's everything, right? There's so many people on the internet. There's so many people on Instagram. There's so many labels out there. If you just find a few that like what you're doing, like Anjuna really loves what Rebecca's doing, what Bexy's doing, that's all that matters. She's now playing shows with Above and Beyond. She puts out music with them all the time. So don't expect everyone to like you. They're not going to. And it's all about just finding the few that fuck with you. That's the truth. Okay? Next one. And this gets into personal stuff. You should either have a supportive partner or no partner. There is no third option, right? Either you're with somebody that supports you on this kind of crazy journey, or you shouldn't be with anyone. I know this is a tough pill to swallow, but this journey is so difficult and such a roller coaster and so many ups and downs. I mean, right now, if you're watching this, if you feel me, hit that like button. Like if you get what I'm saying, like there's ups and downs, you've been there, you get it. It's a roller coaster. Smash that like button for me because I know you feel what I'm saying. It would be even harder to do this with someone that doesn't support it, right? So even who you're dating, who you're together with, they have to be behind you. Otherwise, it's almost going to be impossible. You know, I look at Taylor Torrance, our student. He joined us about 3 years ago, and you know, he's got this amazing supportive partner. You know, we love her, we're very close to her, and you know, it's his wife, and she comes to his shows, and she, you know, she's his biggest fan, and like that is such a huge thing for him because again, the roller coaster, riding it with someone that's there with you, that's everything. If they're not there with you, that's going to hurt. So be super honest with yourself about who you want to take on this journey with you and if they're not supportive of it. Okay? Next one. Just because you've been doing something a long time doesn't mean it's working. I'm going to say that again. Just because you've been doing something a long time doesn't mean that it's working. All right? So we get plenty of applicants. You know, for those that don't know, our school is, you know, high demand. We're sold out months and months in advance. Typically, we're sold out 5-6 months in advance. You get around 100 applicants a week. And we talk to a lot of people on the phone that have been producing for 5 years, 10 years. And it's like, why would they come to us if they've been doing it so long? Well, maybe what they're doing isn't working. And you have to be honest with yourself about that. Just because you've been making music for 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 years, maybe you're doing it the wrong way. Maybe the way you learned 7 years ago is not what works today, right? You know, we have the student Charles D. Charles came to us 4 years ago. He's had incredible results. He got signed by Eric Prydz. He's doing stuff with Insomniac. He's doing stuff with Trumgood. Incredible, absolutely incredible stuff. But when he came to us, he'd never signed a record, but he had a lot of experience. He'd been to other production schools. You know, he'd been making music for a while. But just because he was doing it a while didn't mean that it was working, because it wasn't working. He wasn't getting the results that he wanted. So again, the time that you've been doing something isn't necessarily going to be what matters in the end of you getting to where you want. You got to be honest with yourself about that. And that's where you have to say, hey, I've got to make a change. All right. And then finally, this is a big one. I'll use myself as an example. Self-respect comes from self-control. In this music business, there's so many things going on, so many temptations in front of you. I mean, hey, the job literally happens sometimes in a nightclub or at a festival, right? But if you don't have self-control, you're not going to have any respect for yourself. I mean, there was a time in my career, for those that don't know me, I was a concert producer. I was throwing shows 17, 18 years ago. And this was before we started the program and the school. I mean, I was doing shows in different cities, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm on a plane. I'm doing a show in Miami with Pharrell and NERD. And then I'm on a plane. I'm doing a show with Axwell in New York City. And, oh yeah, if I didn't have self-control and I was just taking shots and getting all messed up and fucked up, oh, I would have died. Like, I would have never survived. The only way that I made it through and the way that I was successful is because I had self-control. And I looked at it like a job, like a business, as something that I wanted to do well at. Not just as something that was fun and I'm just going to get loaded and get shit-faced every day. I would have never respected myself. I would have looked at the past and seen so many wasted opportunities. Instead, I can look back and say, you know what? Yeah, I could have partied a lot more at my shows, but I didn't. And I had self-control. And now I can look at the accomplishments and some of the things that I've done and say, okay, I respect myself a little bit. So, you know, that's a hard conversation you might have to have with yourself. Take a look at yourself and say, am I controlling my urges? Am I controlling myself when I go out? Because if I'm not going to respect myself when this is all done. All right? You know, you're in this for the music. You're in this to get your music out there. You're in this to make people happy, right? If you're just in this to get that temporary satisfaction, go out and party, you're not going to respect yourself in the end. And that's my hard truth. So I hope some of these hit home for you. And I hope some of the examples could maybe inspire you a little bit. You know, we appreciate you tuning into these videos. We just put them out there. They're from our premium program, and we're putting them out for free. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe, and we've got a lot more great shit coming. So we'll see you next time.